It's often said that medicinal plants require more nitrogen in the vegetation stage and more phosphorus and potassium in the flowering stage. Is that true science or bro science?
It's fairly true science, yeah. I mean, the bros are right a lot of the times. They just haven't been validated yet, that's the problem. So the main reason why you want to add more nitrogen really to any growing plant is to increase the growth, to have more basic building materials for those building blocks, for those amino acids. So, and also high nitrogen delivery can signal things in the plants that kind of shift them to produce even more vegetative growth, more luxurious growth, to kind of be more hungry for other nutrients, which in turn adds to more growth. So higher nitrogen in earlier stages is typically recommended. Also, because there's a lot of research out that directly correlates more plant biomass in the vegetative stage, equating to more inflorescence or like more cut flower yield towards the end. So if you have more biomass in the beginning, if you can get more vigorous, healthy, fast growth in a shorter amount of time, usually with higher nitrogen rates, then that's what you'd opt for, so that in flower you can get the most benefits from that veg time. And then as far as kind of shifting over into the phosphorus and potassium side, phosphorus definitely is required by the plant in really both stages, whether it's the vegetative or the flowering stage, because like we talked about, one of the main reasons why the plant needs phosphorus is for that energy transport and for its metabolism. We don't want the plant to be bottlenecked by phosphorus during those critical stages in flower where we're pumping secondary metabolites or we're trying to increase cell density in flowers, things like that. So phosphorus can be very important in those later stages, and you might want to add like a pK boost so you make sure that phosphorus isn't your bottleneck. Now the jury is a little bit out on potassium. There's been a couple of research studies done on how potassium kind of affects the growth of medicinal plants or even other cultivars of just kind of flowering plants. There seems to be a range that like medicinal plants can tolerate when it comes to potassium, which is actually a pretty wide range. And there has been research that shows that it's almost maybe cultivar specific. There's outliers within research that show we didn't really get any results off of high or low potassium in this study except for this one strain, where higher potassium gave bushier growth, larger fan leaves, things like that. So we're seeing that it's a little bit cultivar specific when it comes to potassium, but the phosphorus definitely, you don't want that to be a bottleneck, so you do want to make sure that you're applying enough, and you do want to make sure that you are applying enough phosphorus in the beginning stages where you need those roots and shoots, because it is very important in that new growth as well. But it's also important in energy transport later on down the line, where the plant is having a lot of secondary metabolite actions and it needs to move a lot of things throughout the plant, and it requires energy to do so. So yeah, phosphorus definitely important later on in flower, but you definitely don't want to over apply something like phosphorus. You want to do things like maybe leaf tissue testing to make sure that you're doing the right amounts.
This clip is brought to you by AC Infinity. Use discount code MrGrow15 to save on any of their products.